Whoop. Oh, not that way. There we go. Present. My screen sharing is paused. Hold on. Got it. Present. All right, here we go, guys. How's it going? As Joyce said, this is the second time. Can you see my screen? Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, because it says on mine that you can't see it. It says
No, I
my
see
screen
it.
sharing is paused. Everyone can see the screen, right? Leveraging
Yes.
social
Other
audio to
people
grow
see
your
it?
business. Okay. All right. Yeah. So as Joyce said, this is my second time presenting for her group here. And we're talking all about social audio and how you can use it to grow your business. Now, a little bit about me. I've had the opportunity to hear a little bit about each and every one of you, but as Joyce said, I've been doing this for 18 years. And while, it's very flattering, Joyce, that you say it doesn't look like I could be doing it for that long. Thank you. I got started back in the days of MySpace. Yes, when Tom was everyone's very first social media friend. So that I started by helping bands with their MySpace pages. I worked at the radio station. I'm the former sports reporter at 850 KOA. So those of you here in Denver, I'm sure have heard of 850 KOA, but I did the post-game reporting for the Broncos, the Rockies, the Nuggets, and the Avalanche. I'm also the former marketing manager at AT&T Sportsnet. It was also called Root Sports, I think DirecTV, Sportsnet, all of the changes that they've made. But while I was there, I was doing social media on the side. So really up until I want to say maybe 10 years ago, being a social media anything as your main job, it didn't exist. So as a marketing manager, I was doing script writing, media buys, all that, that kind of went back to my journalism days. And I loved what I did until I got laid off. And, honestly, it was the best thing that happened to me being laid off because it allowed me the opportunity to start my own business and really go after doing something that I'm passionate about, which has always been social media and now social audio and podcasting. So as you, with radio, especially podcasting is basically like the little sister to radio. And I have 3 podcasts now. I'm on social audio platforms like Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces, Wisdom, which we're going to get into all of these today. But that's a little bit about me. And one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, what are you talking about social audio? I've never heard of this term before. Is it like social media? Is it like podcasting? And the answer is yes, it is both. It's kind of like the happy marriage between both social media and podcasting and live radio all at once. And really, it all starts with your voice. And today we're going to learn how to leverage it. All right. So Clubhouse boasts an average of approximately 2 million users each week, with a total of 10 million users actually being members of Clubhouse, so that are actually on the app. And it is growing. The amount of users that are on there is growing every single day. But this is the thing with Clubhouse. It was the very first one of its kind. Nobody was really doing this live podcast thing before. And during the pandemic, Clubhouse took off. So we're going to go into Clubhouse a little more, but this one is really I'm going to say the OG, the original when it comes to social audio. They're the ones that really started all of the copycats to come out. And
excuse me, Katie, we just want to make sure, are you so far just been on your opening slide, or were you advancing slides as you talk?
This is the thing. Yeah, I am sharing. Let's see here.
Okay. Oh, so maybe that is, maybe you want to stop sharing and then share again just to see. Thanks for Laura pointing that out. Yeah. Because I was seeing your slide, but just the opening one.
Hold on. Let's share again. Well, you guys missed all the other fun slides I had up. Okay.
You can do like a zip-de-doo through them. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So this is the
Right.
fun slide I
Okay.
was just showing you.
Okay.
Really, the last, it
Wow.
says paused again. Can you see this slide?
Yeah, we do see this slide.
Okay, what about if I change it now?
Oh,
Can you see anything else?
shoot. I hate to see you have to go back and forth and back and forth.
Hold on.
I don't know if you want to.
It's going to be really tedious if that's the
I
case.
know.
Oh, but we'll survive it if that's what has to be.
Yeah, I know.
We're tough.
I know, but especially
It's
if
not
you're gonna
ideal,
reuse this.
right? Mhm.
Present. Now it goes to paused. Every time I try to present it, it pauses it. I've never had this happen before.
Yeah, me either. So I'm not just sure if it's anybody got any Zoom experts here? Just
Not with
No expert, but
Canva.
maybe try to not go to the presenter mode. When it was in
No,
that
but
more
then you guys
drafty
don't
mode,
get
it
to
might.
see it as nice. Hold on here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
maybe.
If I can just resize everything here. All right. Well, it doesn't look as fancy for you guys here, but
I think some of it is better than none of it.
yeah,
Whatever, we'll
that's
see.
true.
We'll
Okay, so
try.
this is
We'll
the
try.
last slide I was on. It just had a
Ooh,
picture
okay,
of
now
me.
we see it. It's moving right along.
It really wasn't that exciting of a slide. But but okay, so then here's the slide I just read to you guys. And so yeah, so Clubhouse, OG, that's the one that we really are seeing a lot of copycats from. And now you're seeing this slide here with podcasts. Over 37 million people listen to podcasts. Why the heck are you showing me a podcast slide, Katie? Aren't we just talking about social audio? So stay with me, okay? So Nielsen estimates that nearly already massive audience, so over 155 million people in the United States alone, is going to double by 2023. So it's not hard to see why podcasts are so popular. They capture the digital human storytelling that really, if you hear someone speak, you could tell in the last slide that I was reading it. And I mean, I've been trained in voice, you can tell when somebody is reading something off of a screen, and you can tell when somebody is passionate about what they're talking about, when they're engaged with what they're speaking on, or if someone's being a little sidetracked and kind of, you can tell by hearing someone's voice. And the thing with podcasts is they're intimate. It's like listening to a friend. The spoken word, it fulfills that primal need that we have for human connection. And audiences, we're craving more in a Zoom world. And here we are in a virtual Zoom world. There is something to be said about just hearing someone speak. And so with so many tools that are out there now, from podcasting to Clubhouse to Fireside, you can start leveraging your voice and building that connection with very little upfront research or investment. Sorry, this is throwing me off by having to scroll here. Okay, so how is social audio different than social media? Now, unlike most of social media, which just shows us the highlights, let's be real. When was the last time you were like, oh my God, that picture looks terrible of me, I'm going to share it with all my friends? Right? We're never going to share. We're never going to share that. Oh my gosh, why wasn't I smiling? What was I looking at? We're only showing the world our highlights, the amazing travel adventures, the huge mansions, the cars, the fun vacations, the people that have amazing dance skills over there on TikTok. Audio, it just hits differently. And listening to someone's voice is personal. And hearing the unedited audio is just the opposite of seeing the highlights. It's all about the ideas. It's not the visuals. So it emphasizes a different kind of content that can often feel deeper. It feels you're more intellectually stimulated. Now, when you listen to Elon Musk get interviewed by Joe Rogan for 2 hours, you begin to develop that deeper understanding of how the heck Elon Musk thinks beyond just the headlines that you're reading. When you hear a comedian like Mindy Kaling read her her autobiography audiobook over multiple days and multiple hours, you start to feel that emotional bond with her. And when you listen to a live conversation on Clubhouse and hear people talking over each other, you hear the uhs, the ums, the, oh my gosh, I forgot how to scroll on my computer screen. All of that, those different perspectives, the awkward silences, it gives you the opportunity to be a fly on the wall and a dinner conversation that you typically wouldn't be invited to. So there's a lot of different social audio platforms out there, and the number continues to grow. And it will trigger the age-old question of which platform should I be on and how can my business benefit? All right, we're going to go to another podcast slide. So there's currently over 2 million podcasts and over more than 48 million podcast episodes. So the most obvious reason for this, oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button here. So podcast is again, the OG, the very first, the original when it comes to audio. And in recent years, listening to podcasts has definitely become more mainstream. So today, over half the US population has listened to roughly 1 million shows. So in parallel, we've seen the rise of more podcast creators. The pandemic, man, including yours truly, everyone had time to start a podcast and or guest on one. And with more volume, we see a lot of really great creators and a lot of free content out there. And there's platforms out there like Spotify, which owns Anchor, and you can start a podcast just by talking into your phone. You don't even need the fancy microphones. So there's a lot of very affordable ways to start podcasting. And while podcasting is a massive and a growing market, it's often a solo conversation. It's one-sided. So it does give you the opportunity to present yourself as the expert, to present yourself as that thought leader, but there's even more opportunities out there for audio first products that go beyond the passive listening. And that is social audio. So social audio is the modern approach to bringing back that human basic connection. So without texting, video, uploading photos, or the glossy ads, it's people talking, it's sharing insights and exploring topics at scale and with the speed of social media. So as I said before, you think about, what you're posting in your social media feed. We're showing those highlights. And I'm sorry, I feel bad, but I always bring up my mom as this example. She calls me, I will text her back. I just do. Texting is faster. She'll leave me a voicemail and I will read her voicemail. I won't actually listen to it. I will read the transcription and I will respond back. I know I'm not alone. And during the pandemic, there were so many of us that got used to we're texting back faster. It's easier. I'm not even going to listen to it. But we craved speaking to someone. All of a sudden our world was shut down and we craved those new conversations. So we were forced really to try and find new ways to be that fly on the wall. We missed those coffee shop conversations where you could be like, oh, wait a second. You're from Denver. You're running for mayor? Hold on a second. Let's back up here. And you can have those conversations now with social audio. So, with audio too, I just want to say, we've been texting more, we're showing the highlights, and with audio, we don't have to get all dressed up. I mean, granted, I'm just wearing a black t-shirt, but I did do my hair for this today. I wanted to look nice for the Zoom presentation, but Zoom fatigue became a very real thing. We were all ready to jump on the Zoom calls with one another, and soon we were meeting more people on a screen and talking to this little lens, than we had been when we were actually out in the real world. And so we were tired of talking to our computer screens. We're tired of the glossy ads. We wanted new conversations. And that's what made social audio so addicting. It's people talking, it's people sharing insights and exploring topics at scale with the speed of social media. And we can do it all from our pajamas. So while podcast audio has been around for some time, like I said before, it is that one-way medium, meaning it's recorded for listening into the future, or listening to in the future, and you can hear it forever. I mean, if you guys really want to go and have some fun today, go listen to Rocky Mountain Marketing episode 1. That's embarrassing. But I mean, it's there forever. It's evergreen. Social audio is different than this. It's that real-time conversation that allows for listeners to actively participate in the conversation that's happening. So with the reason that social audio is especially effective is because it provides that deep understanding that really isn't supported by text. For example, so if you hear someone's voice, your understanding of what they're saying is influenced by the way that they say it, the way that they pause, the way that they're emphasizing this next point. You know, all of that causes you to absorb the information differently. And while this contextual understanding is also supported in real-time video conversations on platforms like here, like on Zoom, appearing on video does mean that you have to pay attention to the way you look. You have to pay attention to your background. As you can see here, I'm throwing my hands at you guys as much as we can, because hands, if you can see someone's hands, it makes them more relatable. I mean, there's so many other things that go into play when you're on video, and social audio is voice only. So really, it's the Goldilocks of social media. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just right. So let's talk about some of the different social audio platforms out there. The very first one that we're going to dive into is Clubhouse. So this was really the first player in the social audio game. Clubhouse is leading the evolution beyond podcasts. And this social audio was not even a term before Clubhouse came out. It attracted mass adoption during the pandemic in January of 2021. And there's over 2 million active users on the app every single week. So if you've never been on Clubhouse before, when you open up the app, you will see a virtual hallway, and it has all the different virtual rooms that you can enter. All these rooms have different conversations. You can go in and learn everything from cryptocurrency to how to post on Instagram to the latest mortgage insights to the latest if you want to just have some background music. There's active DJs that are just playing music like a Spotify station on Clubhouse. So you enter these rooms, and when the user enters the room, your audio turns on, and you're already in the middle of whatever conversation has been had. And with these conversations, you won't get caught up. You just have to kind of, okay, this is where they're at with the conversation. It's like that live podcast. And typically whoever starts the room gets to decide who else gets to speak. So if you have something that you want to contribute, you raise your virtual hand and you go on to the stage. And there's sometimes in some rooms, there's like 300 people on stage. And then in other rooms, there's like 3. So it's up to the creator of the room. Without going too far into the Clubhouse rabbit hole, the reason why Clubhouse was such a hit is because it's like that live podcast where you can raise your hand and then join the conversation. So with all of these conversations, if I'm going on and on and on about LinkedIn, and Joyce is in there listening and says, well, actually, there's this thing that just came out that maybe you should be aware of. She can raise her hand and join in on the conversation, and we can all start talking about it. Or if she has a question about it, she say, wait a second, where did you hear that? Show me, navigate me through this step by step. We can do that together. Because I know that there's been plenty of podcasts where I'm like, man, they're going so fast and I'm driving. I can't even write this down. I wish I could just ask this question instead of having to Google the answer later. You can actually ask your question in these rooms. Another reason why Clubhouse was so popular when it first came out is because the majority of the rooms are not recorded. Now, you can record your rooms. You get the audio after the room is over. But one of the things that makes it so popular is that majority of these rooms aren't being recorded. So if you're not there, you missed it. And there's really no way to go back and be a part of that conversation again, unless the room creator wants to host that exact same room again. But even then, you never know who's going to come up on a stage. You never know the questions that are going to be asked. So that is why Clubhouse is so popular. It's also popular because of the flexibility of multitasking. Now, I know that there's been plenty of times where I will start listening to a podcast and then I get to my destination and then that's it. And then I have to start on over. But with Clubhouse, you can do a lot of multitasking. You can be cooking dinner, juggling roles, jump in and out of rooms. If you're like, this conversation took a weird left turn and I'm no longer interested in talking sports cars, I was here to talk LinkedIn. You can leave and no hard feelings. So that's one of the things that's great about Clubhouse too. You can speak up and be heard in the conversation or just listen to the insights of those around you. And it really also offers a way to personalize your business. The fact that Clubhouse is audio only makes those interactions that you're having more personal. If I'm up on stage, if I own, maybe I'm a realtor and I'm just talking about different market trends that I've seen, people are going to look at me and say, hey, well, that's really cool that she's up there just giving away all this free tips and free knowledge. I know that when I want to sell my house or if I need to do some work, I'm going to think of her because she's a wealth of knowledge. So, and again, always going back to, you don't have to worry about what you look like, what you're wearing, or where you are. I keep bringing that up because, folks, there's a reason I went into radio. I'm not confident on video. And we are in a video first world now. I mean, let's be real. Let's think about how, what we're doing right now, LinkedIn, think about Facebook Lives, think about TikTok. All of that is video, video, video. If you're not confident on video, this is a great way to position yourself as a thought leader, to get new business, to network at lightning speed without having to show up on video. Okay, and let's go into some of the other social audio platforms. So there's LinkedIn audio events. So these it's now out of the beta program. So recently, now anyone that has the creator status can host a LinkedIn audio event. And it's just like Clubhouse. It's not recorded. The one thing that is different is that you have that set, it's like more like a panel. So you have those set people on stage with you. So let's say, me, Joyce, Lori, and Hal all wanted to have a conversation in a LinkedIn audio room. The four of us can still have that conversation and the rest of you guys can all come listen, but it is just going to be the four of us speaking. Or with Clubhouse, if Gabe wanted to jump up onto the stage, he could. So LinkedIn is, and this is the thing too, going back to Clubhouse, I think that with Clubhouse, it really is like LinkedIn on steroids. Networking happens at lightning speed there. Again, just because of the power of voice and making those connections, you're opened up to a whole new world where with LinkedIn audio events, you do have to promote it a little bit more. But that also being said, go to where your people are. If I'm Joyce, I'm going to be hosting some LinkedIn audio events because she's got like 16,000 followers. So she already has an audience there, and that's where an LinkedIn audio event might be a good spot for her and her audience. There's Twitter Spaces. So Twitter, I will be the first to say, I was the first person in line saying Twitter was dead. Who wants to be on Twitter anymore? Then they full arm embraced the crypto world, the crypto and NFT world, and they got a whole new life. So Twitter has Twitter Spaces, and it is just like Clubhouse. You can record the rooms. You can have people come up to the stage. You can have people leave the stage. You can't have like 300 people on stage like Clubhouse, but you can have like 6 to 10. And having those different conversations, you can also do like reactions. So if Hal says something really funny and we all want to laugh, you can just tap on your the little emoji thing and show up the laugh thing, and everyone's will populate emojis of laughing. But Twitter Spaces, it really it was the very first copycat of Clubhouse to come out, and I definitely feel like they're doing a really good job with their platform right now. Like I said before, lots of talk on NFTs, cryptocurrency, and of course, what Twitter is mostly known for, of breaking news. Now, wisdom is one that I think that a lot of people probably have not heard of. For those here who are coaches, consultants, offer a service in industry, like a service-based business. So like Lori with her emails. This is a great platform where you can go and basically have your own little podcast. And if people have questions, it's one-to-one, and you can put on a 5-minute timer. So let's say Joyce wants 5 minutes of Lori's time to ask her these questions. She can go up there and ask her, but at 5 minutes, she's off the stage. But it's a one-to-one conversation. Multiple people in the room can listen, but there is that timer of getting someone on and off the stage to get their question answered. So Wisdom is a really cool platform for that one-to-one conversation. And last but not least is Fireside. This is the one that Mark Cuban backed. It's Fallon Fatumi is the main CEO of it, but Mark Cuban is an investor in it. And this one is one of my favorites, because if for anyone here that's like, okay, well, Katie, these all sound great, but how can I really leverage this long-term? Fireside is it. So it's a live podcast and a live video cast that you can restream at the same time to platforms like YouTube and Twitch, and with the video, and then you get the audio recording, the video recording, the transcripts at the end. And with this too, you can do the live reaction. So if I say something funny, you can do the little laughing thing and it'll do a laughing sound. But with this, so what I do with my NFL podcast, so I have an NFL podcast also, and we do it live here on Fireside. And the people that get to come live are the people who are our Patreon subscribers. So they pay like $5 a month, and then they get a ticket or a link to come and join us live. So what we do is we go in, we kind of have like a green room, like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. Here we are. And then we hit record, we go live. And at the end, people can come up and then ask questions and be like, hey, Katie, you didn't even really talk about Dak Prescott breaking his finger. What do you think? Is he going to get surgery or not? And we could actually have that conversation. So it's a great way to, if you're just getting started with some podcasting and you're like, I want to just try and get as much, exposure as possible. Fireside's really cool. And they have some really cool things in the works. I spoke at Podcast Movement in August, and Mark Cuban and Fallon were actually both there. And they're actually working on deals with like Hulu and Netflix, so that these shows that you're creating on Fireside will be streamed out on TV. So I think Fireside's a really cool platform. It's new. It's they're all different. All these are different, and they all have different benefits and different ways of really maximizing your exposure. So yes, that is a lot of options. And there's even more than I listed here. There's Discord, Slack even has one. There's Owl. Owl's another cool one that's kind of like Wisdom, where you can actually get paid for your time. So if someone has a question, it's like, okay, if you want to ask Lori that question, it'll cost you $20. So Owl is another one. But the biggest takeaway I want you guys to have is that social audio is a key component of many social media platforms right now. I mean, we talked about LinkedIn, we talked about Twitter. Those guys have been around for a long time. While there's new players coming into the game, like Fireside and Clubhouse, if the big guys out there are investing the time and the energy of their employees to create this technology, you really should try and pay attention to it. So audio is an important strategy that you need to consider. And I think that with it, like I said before, they all exist for different reasons. So just like every social media platform exists for a different reason. You get on Twitter for a different reason than you get on LinkedIn. And it's the same for social audio. So if you have that audience on LinkedIn already, go all in on LinkedIn. If you're still trying to grow and you're like, hey, you know what? I might like to have a podcast, and I don't mind being on video. This could work great. Maybe check out Fireside. All right. So the human voice has been called the mirror to our soul. And with that, I know I keep coming back to it, but with our voices, it really allows us to transmit our feelings, our emotions, our ideas, our wishes, everything through this singular, amazing instrument. It has power, and like all content marketing, social audio is an incredibly affordable and innovative way to build up your brand's reputation over time. So growing your brand and in turn growing your business is less about the mass promotion and more about fostering those connections, giving value and trying to give people a window into your world. So the more human and the more relatable that you are, the more likely people are going to feel a kinship towards you, and they're going to reward you with their business, whether it's through a referral or through a follow. Like TikTok and podcasts, the content is not overly scripted. People just, what do we want now? We want authenticity. We're tired of the stock images. We're tired of, the beautifully curated photos. It's time to be authentic. So we're wrapping up here. I know I only have 5 more minutes, but with social audio, it gives you the opportunity to position yourself as that thought leader. You have the opportunity to host topics on whatever you feel comfortable in. And if you're like, I don't even really know what I would say, there's a website I really like. It's called answerthepublic.com. And you can type in like latest Instagram update, and all of the terms that people are typing into Google that say like latest Instagram update. I'm like, okay, well, people are really searching, why did Instagram do another update? And so, okay, well, there's my hook. That's the title of my room. I'm going to craft a 15-minute conversation about this new update and what I think it's going to mean. You can do that with any business. And if you want to talk, I keep going back to real estate because a lot of my clients and customers are realtors, but there's a smorgasbord of opportunities to talk about, like, not just besides the local market, like the 3 things you need to, when you decide you want to move, boxes, whatever, and where to get them. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can find to have these conversations. They don't need to be an hour long. You don't need to have slides. You just need to have some notes. And if you have your notes, you can have that conversation for the mini skirt rule. So it's short enough to keep it interesting, but long enough to cover everything. And then you also have the opportunity to host these virtual events like on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great spot for having those recorded kind of panel discussions with those virtual events. And then last but not least, if you don't want to talk, I get it. I come from radio. I've already said I don't like being on video. So I get it. If you don't want to talk into a microphone, it's not comfortable for everyone. You would be amazed at what you can hear in these rooms. If you don't ever want to host a room, ever, but you go into the room where your clients and customers are hanging out, goodness gracious, the amount of market research that can happen in there, listening to the questions that they have, the comments that they have, the concerns that they have. I mean, there's your entire, content strategy for the rest of the month. And I've gone into so many rooms where I'm like, man, nobody knows about this new update. I should probably do some posts on that because nobody's talking about it. So then now I've positioned myself as the person that has the answer to their problem. So if you don't even want to take the stage, you don't want to be hosting these live events, go in and listen. And there is, I can promise you, especially on Clubhouse, there is a conversation happening around what your audience needs help with. And you know what, and I know we're almost out of time here, but there was a room, I wanted to, I was having a hard time trying to figure out what I should post for an upcoming carousel post that I was trying to think of. And I just did, what's the latest with the real estate market right now? That was the title of the room. And all these people came in that knew about what the latest was, came in and decided to just talk to me about it. I had so much content from it. So, I mean, if you have a good title and you want to know, if I wanted to know about email marketing, I could open up a room and be like, will someone please explain to me which email provider is the best one that I should go with? I can guarantee you that there would be a whole ton of people that would come up into that room and start sharing their insights with me. So you'll never run out of good things to listen to. All right. And we're all out of time here. But power of voice, tell your brand story. You have that true and authentic feeling. You can multitask while you're listening to these social audio rooms. You can do it from anywhere. You can do it from the bathtub. You can do it from the road. You can listen to social audio anywhere. You can talk on social audio anywhere. You don't need a fancy microphone. And you can listen to your target market for target research. In a world of filters and 15-second videos, audio really does allow you to build relationships at lightning speed. So have those conversations, be willing to open yourself up and just share your expertise or listen to what your clients and customers are struggling with. All right. Social audio is an incredible tool. Thanks for coming. I can't hear you, Joyce. You're muted.
I bet. So thanks. Oh my gosh, that's a big round of virtual applause, jazz hands, whatever you want for this. So incredibly full of helpful information. You may have motivated me to get back on Clubhouse, Katie. I did have one question I don't think's already been addressed. Hal early on brought up, how does social audio differ from, say, like a chat room? Chat rooms, I think of chat rooms as more like type, just work,
yeah,
not hearing.
Yeah.
Is that a way to answer that?
I agree with you. Chat rooms, I see more of a tap, where, and I mean, like with not all social audio rooms, like not all of us would be on stage together unless you were like, all right, I'm going to invite everybody to come up onto the stage right now on Clubhouse so that we can all talk to each other. Like right now, it might just be you and me on stage and everyone in the audience. And then now that I'm done, people could raise their virtual hand and come join us on stage. But, you know, they try to kind of limit it so that, unfortunately, trolls are everywhere, guys. I mean, there's always somebody that's going to try and mess things up. So by having that virtual hand raise feature, it allows people to, you know, to kind of moderate the room and monitor the room so that things don't get out of hand.
Are there any other questions or comments for Katie? I know people have, you know, certainly have to scoot here at the hour.
I went through, sorry. I saw that Laura had one, like Clubhouse. So Clubhouse is mobile first. There is another platform. You can listen to Clubhouse rooms through desktop, but you cannot join the conversation through desktop.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a third-party tool called Club Deck, but I mean, that's if you're really going to have like a Clubhouse strategy, then maybe use Club Deck, and then you can have a microphone and all the fancy tools.
And again, to clarify with the LinkedIn audio, that's available. You don't have to have a paid account, right, Katie? Just that question was asked by Laura. You do have to enable creator mode, as I put into the chat, in your profile. So you just go to the resources section, it's toward the top, and you'll see creator mode right there, and then you enable it, and that gives you access to LinkedIn audio.
And then Laura, you said too, Fireside sounds interesting. You don't need to have the camera on. You could still use Fireside without the video. Like it's one of the options, like, do you want to have the video? And you just click the little like video camera thing.
Yeah, because I don't mind with something like this, with the group of people that, I'm trying to connect with here, but for eternity, it's sort of like, no, this just won't pass muster. And I don't feel like getting all, when I do stage work, I'm always in the background, doing things like the other people's makeup and the costuming and stage construction and lighting. I don't, I might be in the chorus if you need one more body, but no, I don't need to be the star.
One thing I want to do before other folks have to leave is just say real quickly, next month, our topic is SEO, and that'll be with Sam DeRocher. That's Samantha, AKA Sam. And then November, it will be on visuals. Marie Leslie is doing that, talking a bit about Canva and other kinds of visuals we can use with our social media. She's done a great presentation on that before, but that was a while back. So I wanted to see her do a kind of a new and updated version. And December, typically we have sort of like a goal-oriented one, but that's a long ways off. So thanks everybody for coming. I'm really glad you were here, and we will be able to get you probably by tomorrow night or within the next 48 hours, the link to the recording of this, which I can actually turn off now that I see that I'm done here. Recording off, stop the recording. Yes.